Okay, everybody, it's me, Derek Chocolate Botanist. I am cleaning off these leaves. I've cleaned off a couple of leaves. They're looking shiny because I anointed them, hallelujah, with a little bit of, the camera was already zoomed in. Anointed them with a little bit of neem oil and some control spray. If you are watching this in the future and you have ever had a pest problem or a bug problem, or you're watching this now and you have a pest problem or a bug problem, comment what that bug was or that pest was, because what I'm dealing with is this. These, you see those white spots? That isn't cocaine. That isn't crack. Okay, that isn't opium. That isn't fentanyl flakes. These are darn mealy bugs. So please comment below. And the reason I put my title the way I did is, I had went to, flip back to me. I had went to the TikTok, minding my own Negro business, trying to be live, trying to talk to them, show them, a little love and adoration. And, hold on. This will probably make me look a lot better. Show them a little love and adoration. There we go. We're liking this. We're liking this. And the people on TikTok just be going right by me. They don't be commenting. They just be jumping and leaving, jumping and leaving, jumping and leaving, like I am the freaking Titanic. And I don't know if I'm set up for that at this stage in my life. But I'm cleaning off an elephant ear. This is y'all's chance to ask me a couple of questions. I'm not going to be live long. It's going to be 5 or 10 minutes. I'm a plant biologist. You can ask me any type of science question. I'll answer just about any question, really, long as y'all being respectful. Respectful. But again, for those of you watching this in the futuro, on the Instagram or the YouTube, comment your questions below. TikTok has been weird since that man went to trial. Look, I've gone live on TikTok once, and it was kind of weird because some people that got up there, and I don't know exactly how they joined my live, but it was just odd. But now, me trying to do it just to kind of branch out and spread out, and I'm just like, I don't know what's up with you people. Like, there's a bunch of people who follow me. I don't think I see any of them, and then the people who don't be following me just be sitting there and watching. So I came to this elephant ear, and I decided to do this today because I had seen some new leaves that just opened up. This one is kind of showing some chlorosis, yellowing, some of the margins. And if I look that up, I could see what nutrient deficiency was there. And this leaf right here, let's zoom into that one, is also spotted. So some new growth is showing yellowing. And I'm going to answer that question in a second, the only Andrew. But these leaves are yellowing. I'm like, what's going on? What have I done within the last week or so, right? I've not really watered. So I'm like, let me try to fertilize a little bit. So I've been trying to do that. Zoom back out. I've also noticed, again, because I come over here and I look at these plants, I was like, let me look at these leaves, because every so often you got to look under a leaf. And again, I seen these little white dots. And y'all share this with people so I can get some follows and stuff. That really helps me out. Y'all don't know how much that helps out scientists like me. So I'm going to clean this off. I've already done a couple of leaves on TikTok, and them ungrateful ingrates didn't say nothing. They didn't comment. Y'all see how sexy these leaves are? You see how beautiful these leaves are? And I got all under the leaf. I wiped every inch. I used a mix of, because I know some of y'all are like, what product did you use? I used this insect control, Earth's Ally, and some neem oil. Mixed them together in a little bottle, which I've got to kind of keep shaking up. And then I used an alcohol wipe thereafter. And it's just like rough. So let's go back up to the question. Somebody said they changed career paths at 31. Are they cooked? It depends on what career path you had went to, from what you started to what you went to, and how connected you are. I think changing career paths is a thing that you could do at any time. And it's sometimes easier if you're, a white person versus another race person. But if you know that you know that you know what you know, and you can get connected with people who will give you more skills and training, some certifications and such, I don't think you're cooked at all. How often do I fertilize tropical plants during the off season? It depends. So all my plants and all house plants you will typically have are tropical to a certain extent, right? These alocasias, these colocasias, these pothos, aeroids, all of them jazz. Some people will say not to fertilize during the off season whenever the winter month is in your area, but I generally will still throw a couple of fertilizations in. It just depends on how I feel and what the plant is saying to me. Right now, this plant is saying to me, "Please, Papa, fertilize us, for we need something." And this one's like, "Yeah, Papa, do it." It's the same plant, but it's different leaves. They got different voices for some reason. So, yeah. I threw a plant out and a few mealies, and I looked under the leaves and found their cousins and them out in the trash. Oh, no, not out in the trash. And luckily enough, I have, this corner is kind of like tropical city. So I have these monasteras over here. Over here in this corner, I have a beautiful bird of paradise, a cactus, and like some other random things. I'm going to kind of spray this whole area. But thank God I haven't had anything. My girlfriend would love your stuff. I'm glad she would. What indoor plants do well in places that have long winters? So if you have a long winter, your spectrum of light is going to be different. So you would most likely need a low light plant. Not no light, but low. Low is not no. So you would need something that can tolerate that, like a ZZ, a Zamicculus xanifolia. I think that's the actual full government name of that one. You would need something like some succulents that can handle low light, like a snake plant. Those would be a couple of ones I could think of. Even the pothos, there we go, forgot its name, epiprenum. Those can tolerate low light. But the other thing you can do is you can get grow lights. I have this grow light right over here. It's older, so it's kind of not looking good. I have one behind me that is pretty great. And then I have a big one over in the corner and some other ones. You can get grow lights and add artificial light, great artificial light, into your space. So yeah, y'all keep asking questions. I'm going to wipe these other couple of leaves. I'm not going to be up here. So y'all formulate your questions quick. Whenever this scientist goes live, y'all should have your questions formulated. And the name of the game is wiping these bad boys off, these eggs, and preventing the life cycle. This is the big thing about integrated pest management, or IPM. You do not want these bugs to reproduce and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce. And they thinking it's a P. Diddy freak-off party, right? They are sitting here, but they don't know I got the baby oil. The baby oil is right here. There's neem oil. And I don't have 1,000 bottles of it. But they are going to need life support. That's terrible what that man was doing. But this cloth here has some alcohol on it. So I'm just kind of wiping the adults. And I'm doing multiple treatments of multiple things because I want to make sure, for me, when I'm doing treatments, and I'm doing things that I know can mix well together. But when I'm doing my treatments, I want to make sure that what I do works. And that I'm not just sitting here doing nothing for no reason. So I'm going to add some more alcohol to my cloth. Again, I'm just using regular 70% alcohol. Yeah, this is the freak off, and the mealies is about to be freaked off. Okay. Take that. Special delivery. Can I have that? Special delivery. And they're going to wish they had a band by the time I'm done. That was terrible what that man did to them people. I'm also doing this at night because this is by a window, and I don't want this to happen during the day. Some of these treatments during the day can burn your plants. They can leave them more prone to being like scorched by the sun or by light. And I don't want that, because while I don't necessarily want my plants to look perfect, because I know that's not real, I don't want my plants to look bad if I can avoid it. Soil ratios for succulents versus beginner plants like Pilea and Pothos. Let me flip this. I want you to know something. The people will tell you that there are beginner plants and then there are the expert level plants. But I want you to know, I have a dear sister of mine, love her to death. Aloe, for some people, succulent. We all are familiar with aloe. For me, I could not get to do well. In the former place she lived, she had this window, and she just sat them in there. I gave her the instructions on what you were supposed to do. And she was able to take 5 plants and turn them into maybe like 200. And I wish I could. I wish I was exaggerating. 5 plants. They had pups, and 200 at least was just given away. Just boom, boom, boom. Those plants in her new space have pretty much gone up to the upper room with Jesus. There are some people who can grow pothos and some people who cannot do pothos, but they can do every orchid in the world. Your beginner is somebody else's expert. So let's just say that one, right? And again, I'm answering questions and wiping off leaves as y'all are here. So spider mites on this baby. Those of you who pay attention to my content know I did a bugaboo video about this one a while back, and they're back. So here we go. But soil ratio tips. I typically tell people either get the succulent mix, or if you're like me and you mix a soil mix that works for your plants. I'm talking with my hands and not moving. That works for you and your plant care. I love to water plants, and I feel great when I water a plant fully, where water comes out through the bottom. I watered a couple of plants today, and I water until water literally drains out the bottom of a plant, because I know the roots are somewhere in this area. In best cases, they are down here. And if I water top all the way down, you're good until I need to water you again. Some plants don't want to be watered continuously. And for me, Derek, I don't want to overwater, because that's what I tend to do. So some of my mixes are very loose, very sandy, right? But it's also hard for me to give you a ratio, because it's like when you go and ask your mama and grandmama for their recipes, and they've been cooking, the potato salad forever or gravy forever. And you're like, what's the recipe? And they're like, oh, it's such and this and some of this and some of that. And they don't tell you everything. It's difficult. I've mixed soils on lives trying to give proportions, but I go by tactile touch, because I also recycle soil. So it's hard for me to say. For most of you, I'll just say, like, literally go and get a succulent mix. The sun exposure beats out all else. Sun exposure, what are we talking about sun exposure? Because I'm behind. Voice echoes tells me all I need to do. Were we talking about the oils? Sun exposure can definitely be rough. Light exposure in general can be rough when you are oiling up these plants, because look at how greasy these are. This reminds me when I was a child. My mama used to, when she would put like chapstick or whatever on me, she would just put it on, and my lips would feel like lip gloss. Like as a child, I was like, Mama, I don't want you to put, I remember being like 5 or 6, I don't want you to put chapstick on me anymore, because the kids say I have lip gloss on. Like my friends are saying I have lip gloss on, and I'm like, no, I don't, because she would just take it and just thick. And I'm like, why do you do that? That's why I treat my mama the way I do now. When you get older, you get them back. So I gotten older and I can get them back. But yeah. That is that question. So a couple other questions before I get off of here. Let's get this bad one. So let's talk about this. Mealy bugs are insects that are under the side of your leaves, right? And you can see these white clusters, and that's how you can kind of know they're them. I get them and spider mites often confused, but the mealies are just not the dealio. So typically, again, I just use rubbing alcohol and a neem oil. You can get neem oil any brand. 70% rubbing alcohol, and then I'm mixing this in as well, because this treats scale insects. I'm going to spray heavily, and I followed the instructions on the bottles to mix these, right? And I'm going to have to get in with my hands. Some of y'all are squeamish when it comes to insects. I understand, but you got to go in, and I got to remove them. You can use a Q-tip, but I'm using a little bit of a cloth, and I'm going to throw this, after I drench it in more alcohol, into a composting that I'm doing, because I'm not necessarily worried. I don't tell you to do that, but I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. Let me see. And again, I'm a whole plant biologist, if y'all don't know who I am, and y'all can ask me questions. Is it true that certain plants need sun exposure from certain directions, or is it just the amount of sun that's more important? It's really the amount of light and the spectrum of light. So there are different spectrums of light, like this light above me, over to the corner, because you can see that it's a little purple, right? It's a little purple. There's some reds and some blues. And the light that we get from the sun, and really most lights are various just recipes, various mixtures of lights that the plants can absorb and use in varying different levels. If they are getting certain colors at certain points of their development, you can literally change how your plant looks and how it reacts, called epigenetics. It's the coolest thing in the world. Now, certain plants, depending on, again, where they are in their maturity level, how old they are, what they are, and what you're trying to get out of them, do need a certain amount of light, a certain volume of light, watts per meter squared. Some people say foot candles, lumens, right? Whatever it may be, making sure I'm getting all of these corners as I'm wiping this off because I don't want to do all this work and then miss some. And these are mealy bugs, by the way, that I'm getting off of here. And they need a certain amount of light and a certain duration of that light and a certain intensity of that light, which are all the same thing, really. But they need a certain spectrum of colors to make sure they get what they need. So it's not necessarily for all directions. You're generally talking about directionality when you're trying to make a plant look like upright and straight. Some that are more prone to bending. Like this bad boy you can see is bending towards this window over here. And why is it bending towards this window? Because that's the one that's been open. I've had that one pulled open for a couple of weeks because I like to look outside more clearly. And this window was closed until tonight. So it's been bending towards that. Before that, this leaf that was the worst offender of the mealies was actually under the blind. So they will seek that light. And if you're trying to like balance them out, you can turn them. This is a heavy pot. I'm not going to turn this. So I have this light over in the corner that hopefully balances things out. And once I close this blind again, it'll hopefully stand back up. Hope that answers your questions. But I'm almost done wiping off leaves. Again, using some neem oil and some rubbing alcohol, 70%. Because I am trying to use multiple methods to take out these mealies. We don't want these mealies nowhere near my plant feelies. And I'm wiping every part of this leaf because as I've shown y'all, you can kind of even still see one. Zoom right here. I want to make sure I'm taking out all of these mealy bugs as much as I can. You are welcome. Science is so cool. Whoops. This is why I love science. Y'all got any other questions for me? Because we almost done here. I try not to be live for too long, especially when I don't have I feel like back in the day I used to be able to get like 20, 30 people. Maybe if I start like scheduling lives, then y'all can look forward to it. But I don't get what I used to get, and that's all right. I'd rather have great interactions. I mean, really, honestly, I want to have both great interactions and a lot of people tuned in. But yeah, we're just wiping, trying to get every square inch saturated in the stuff. Hey, friend, how you been? Madam hot off the hook. I ain't seen you. You ain't talked to me in so long. And I ain't talked to you in so long. I was thinking about you the other day. I said, I wonder how she's doing. So again, I had some mealies on this alocasia. This alocasia, I cannot remember where I got it from, but I put it in this pot and it's been taken off. And again, I'm cleaning with a couple of chemicals. So I'm using this spray bottle that is mixed with this Earth's Ally insect control and this triple action neem oil. I miss you too. We ought to talk tonight. I'm mixing a couple of chemicals up in here. And I've been trying to shake as I'm spraying. And I'm spraying the plant. And I'm going to go heavy because I want to take out any pressure, any neem oil, okay? Any neem oil, any mealy bugs, okay? Because mealy bugs can be a problem, all right? And I have this great spray bottle, simple, cheap thing from the Walmarts, okay? I'm also going to spray down everything else that's in this corner. Why? Because all of them could frankly be a carrier, could be a place where these mealies could be trying to hide, okay? Mealies are like your ops. I got a voice that makes you want to listen. Let me flip this back. I was just on TikTok, Storm. You said I got a voice that makes people want to listen. The people wasn't listening to me. They was just hopping off. I was like, Lord, y'all just came in. It takes 5 minutes for them to really get people to come in, which I guess is your time to get set up. And then I'm like, y'all ain't gonna talk. I'm like, y'all hear me? Y'all okay? Can y'all hear me? Nobody was responding because they just, and it pissed me off, to quote Richard, what's that man's name? My Endless Love, Diana Ross. He was Lionel Richie. There we go. Pissed me off. That's what he's saying. He asked all these people to do this stuff and they wouldn't do it. So again, I'm doing all of this. What triggered me looking at this, I look at these plants every so often. And I also noticed I had like a issue. So I'm going to have to get in closer to do this leaf here. How about that lost cloth? And I see somebody said it's midnight, and it is. But, I mean, there'll be people on TikTok live all the time. Now, granted, I also don't watch nobody's live on TikTok. So I shouldn't be upset. But still I am. There we go. Whew. There we go. So I'm going to spray other plants because these mealies can just, they're little white bugs, and they can just get into the cracks and crevices of these leaves. And they are like bed bugs, but for your plants. And I don't want them if I can avoid it. So I'm just spraying, again, neem oil and this other insecticide, trying to take down the amount of pressure that these plants could be giving, or these bugs could be giving to this corner, because this corner isn't heavily populated, and I do need to like clear off some of these leaves. But until I get the effort to do that, I'm just gonna spray everybody down, and I want to spray all sides of a plant if I can, because I want to get them all. Do y'all have any other questions before I get off this live from me? Let's flip this around as I go and spray this corner. Everybody who wants to be in an ambulance car, throw your hands up. And I'm going to get all edges, all corners of this thing. I want it to be saturated. It's like when you take a bath. Some of y'all take baths and y'all don't wash your legs. And if you didn't wash your legs, you're still dirty. You don't want to have your plant still be dirty. So I'm going to spray every section of this plant and get it dripping wet. And if you want to be dripping, who let me go live? Who did this? Who did this? I gotta keep shaking this bottle up as I go. Some of these plants I'm gonna have to really touch and move to really make sure I get all edges and corners. Because like plants have so many different like veins and hiding spots for these little bugs. And like even with me wiping it off, there's still some that are like still here that I'm trying to make sure I've like physically removed. And it's not just like solution still holding on to this plant. And the last time my hands were this wet, I mean, this is a dark. This is an after dark botany live, right? This is why people should be up here at midnight. At midnight, I could say all types of crazy shenanigans. Who's really going to go back through this live and listen? Not many people. I got a story I want to tell about the first time I went to a strip club. If we get 10 people up here, I'll tell that story. So y'all gotta like share and comment because it went down to 5. I guess I'm not gonna tell this story. So the first time I went to a strip club, that was a couple of years ago. I went to one in California. It was an interesting experience. Whew. There's a lot of spraying. How about we settle for 7? Nope, it has to be 10. See, I settle for a lot. And I'm a whole scientist. A black scientist at that, and y'all want me to settle? Y'all want me to settle? My first live. I'm glad it's your first live. You came in at the right time, but there's not enough people for me to tell the story. Because I still see 5 people. Oh, we at 6. Y'all ask me your other plant questions while I'm up here. Again, if we get 10 people in here, I'll tell the story the first time I went to a strip club and what had happened to me. I had wanted to do a series called Botany After Dark. There's another series I want to do too. But I don't know if the people is ready for that. Anybody who knows like full Derek, real Derek, know I can be a little lascivious when I want to be. Let's see. I thought we was talking plants. We are talking plants, but I can talk plants after dark. Botany After Dark. It was actually going to be, the series was going to be Botany After Dark originally, but I was going to call it Dark Chocolate. Because some people can't handle dark chocolate, so you don't come. This is After Dark. I see. It's midnight in Eastern North Carolina, or Central North Carolina, Eastern Standard Time. We don't have. It looks like we ain't gonna get to 10 people, so y'all ain't gonna hear that story. We're gonna have to wait till next time. See, we at 2 people now. You see how this happens? Y'all see what? This is why I don't tell no stories. This is why I don't tell no stories. I made it out okay with the hurricane. I did. So I'm in Central North Carolina. It was a lot of rain here. Flash flood, really. It was just like raining all day, and then it was just like boosh, flash flood. But I was okay. Like the world was pretty chill. I just sat at home. Nothing too insane. Just literally at home. Helene, I think somebody told me her name was, one of my sisters said the name was. She didn't really do much to me. So, last couple of questions, because it looks like we ain't gonna get to 10. See, y'all see how easy it is to share. Y'all could be, the 4 of y'all could have shared it to 5 people and like, come up here so he can tell the story about strippers. So then I would have been like, here's the story, y'all. But it is what it is. I thank y'all for joining today. I did some stuff. So what did we do? When you watch this over again, this is a spray bottle. I'm going to anoint some other plants with this neem oil mixture. And again, this was some neem oil mixed with some insect control, which this is an organic pesticide. Rosemary oil, clove oil, peppermint oil, blah, 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 blah. And somebody's trying to be serious. And the numbers was going up. And the neem oil. And then I went with an alcohol wipe thereafter. So thanks for all the info and the help. Y'all welcome. And this alcohol, again, 70%. If nothing else, if you just use 70% alcohol to remove some insects, it suffocates them. And again, the thing about managing insects, either inside or outside, these are pests. We're not trying to get rid of every bug. Inside is a different story. Outdoors is like just the ones that are damaging my plants. We're not trying to get rid of every bug. So sometimes 70% alcohol is really just an easy thing to use because you can like suffocate a plant or suffocate a pest. But again, I'm doing this at night because I want my plants to be greasy, and you can see just how greasy this baby is. Like, you see how greasy this leaf is? How greasy this is? Like, it's just covered in a little sheen. I don't want the sun to touch these at this point. I don't want a bunch of light to touch them at this point. So, a couple of more questions. Let's take one more question and then I'm going to hop off. Again, plants, science. If we get two more, when we was at 8 people and somebody jumped off, the people that was up here knew what was about to happen. If we had gotten to 10, because we was at 8, now we jumped to 6. Never mind. Y'all got one more question, and then we'll be good to go. And again, a little spray. This took maybe... It would have taken shorter if I wasn't doing a live, because I just would have been like 10 minutes and wiped all these leaves and sprayed everything down. But any other questions for me? Plant biologist, scientist, black man. I be studying the plants, ethnobotany. I grow a lot of plants in here. I'm trying to move some plants around and spread out some of the plants that I had close up. Thank you for loving my content, Definite Dopeness. I thank you. I appreciate the appreciation. You don't know how much it means to me. Because sometimes, especially lately, I've been going through like a creative spell. And it's like, why do I look so dark? This is why. I've been going through a creative mehness. And you don't even know how much it means to have people who really appreciate my content and who aren't just like, dance, monkey, and don't talk about politics. Because us declare, when you talk about politics, it makes me want to unfollow your page, sir. Because those people make me sick. I'm a full person. And I give portions of myself to social media. But whatever I share is a part of who I am. So, if there's no other questions, thank you for the hearts and the things. I haven't seen those in a while. I work at night, so I miss most of your lives, but I go back when I can and watch them. Thank you. What? You said you work at night, so you Eastern Standard Time? I used to do some late night lives, and I would talk to people. I miss Pablo, DIY plant, boy. I had to look back at this thing, but Pablo, we used to do his late night lives. Do I go live on Friday nights? Not often. Sometimes I try to go live now on Sundays. If I go live, it's because I'm just like feeling like I got to talk and I just want to talk to the camera versus just talk to myself. Or I'm doing something, like I'm somewhere doing something. Or like here, I was like, ayo, I'm live. If we get one more person, I'll tell this story. Ayo, so that means we're at 9. We need people to stay, and I'll tell a story about the first time I went to a strip club. See, the people don't be listening. I know there's a delay, but I'll be like, y'all almost there. Y'all keep teetering and tottering. But when I go live, I'm doing something. Or like tonight, I was like, I know I need to get rid of these mealies, and I want to show you all tonight versus recording a video and putting it up. So my lives are a little bit more, what is that called? Sporadic? But I'm trying to get into a schedule for Sundays, doing like a couple of shows where I could just talk to you all and be live. 2 more people, and I'll tell the story of the first time Derek went to a strip club and my trip in California a couple of years ago. Again, we keep getting to 8 and then we drop down. We keep getting to 8 and we drop down. Everybody can see how many people in here. It's sad. Rich, how you doing, Rich? Now, I know I was just talking about strippers, but we don't need to talk about that right now because Rich is at the New York Botanical Gardens, and his school of horticulture is to die for. If you are trying to get into a program that will give you some horticultural know-how and that is prestigious, you need to see the New York Botanical Garden and their educational school. There's a whole write-up he sent me a while back. I thought I could just pull it from here. And I'm getting a big nothing because it's 12, 15, 16. So, but if you're watching this in the future and you actually go through this whole video, like say I went through this whole video in the comments, and that'll be dope. I thought I heard something. So I heard something knock over in the second bedroom. I thought somebody was in here with me. I was like, that's impossible. I have all the doors locked. I'm on the second floor. Who would have done that? But, hey, Shalimar. This for the lover. I'm going to go off this live. But, again, those of you who joined, thank you. Those of you who want, it was like, what did you talk about? I was talking about all types of stuff. Colocacias, some mealy bugs. We got rid of some mealy bugs. I, excuse me, greased up some plants real good. And I'm just going to spray some more plants because I can't let this spray just sit here because it'll get all rancid and I don't want that. So I'm just going to spray some more plants just to make sure I get rid of just various pests. I got a gnat problem. So I keep saying it's like black people where we'll be like, oh, we're all right now. And you think you're going to go and you just keep talking. Me and the sister was just talking about this. So I'm going to get off of here for real this time. Y'all have a good night. Keep growing plants and asking questions. Take it easy. There we go. I did not mean to do that.